Hello, and welcome to season 3 of the Wash Dads podcast. My name is Brandon McElroy. Happy to be here with you. Listen, if you've been through the first 2 seasons, you already know we are on to have a really good time, have some real good conversations with a lot of good dads. So this is season 3. We're getting real serious, real talk, real dads, real life conversations around here. So welcome in. And if this is your first time, welcome as well. And let's have some fun. Today, we got a great brother. This is a special person too, because we found out, what was this, about a year ago, that we're actually relatives?
About a year ago, yeah.
About a year ago, okay.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show, Mr. Rod Dye. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. About yourself? Appreciate you, cousin.
Hey, listen, it's good to have good family, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, listen, tell us a little bit about you. You know, who are you? And we'll dive into this thing.
Man, for sure, man. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, man. Man, Rod Dye, native of Columbus, Ohio. I'm I'm a man of God. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a working man. You know what I mean? Like I said, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. Grew up here. Went to school out in Dayton, came back home. Been married for about 6 years now.
Okay.
To my wonderful wife, Tiffany.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So me and Tiffany been married for about a little over 6 years now.
That's awesome.
With 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old son, RJ.
Okay.
1-year-old daughter, Rylan. So, yeah, man, busy life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said they were keeping you busy. They keep you moving.
Very.
Yeah. They don't let no sleep for dad. That's what it is.
Very little. Very little. It's all good.
Fair.
I love it.
Man, that good ages too. We said 4 and 1, right?
4 and 1.
4 and 1. So getting ready for kindergarten.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How's the life around that? How you feeling there?
Oh man, it's definitely a lot of anxiety around it.
Really?
My wife's a teacher too, so she's on it. And then, we stay out in the burbs. So, finding the right school for him.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that there's a good amount of diversity for him.
Okay.
And, he's very he's very gifted. So just making sure that he's in the right environment that's, conducive,
Awesome.
for his learning. So
that's good, man. No, that's really good. And hey, listen, they keep you on your toes. Like, mine is 6, so we just a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna abandon you on day one? Because that was my fear. Where they turn around, bye, dad, see you later, and just go. How you feel like he's gonna do when he gets in there?
Yeah, he's already done that. Like when I drop him off at preschool, he's like, "Okay, Dad, I'm here. Bye." But
independent.
But not. Yeah, he definitely independent, man. But he always finds his way back to dad, so I'm not too worried about that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, listen, when we were kind of working through some of the pre-show stuff, you had talked a little bit about fatherhood and it being amazing and a true blessing, I think is how you described it initially.
Absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit about just why does it make you feel that way? What's the impact there for you as far as fatherhood?
Man, so for me, it was always me and my mom growing up. I didn't meet my dad till I was 27.
Okay.
I'm 36.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So just to be able to, be there, for my kids day one, is everything, especially having a son first. I understand, what I needed, growing up, and make sure I'm able to provide that to him, much more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So having the opportunity to do that, having the opportunity to pour into him, also having the opportunity, to instill discipline in him as well. I feel like that's something that, not that I fully lack discipline, but there's areas, looking back as a man, if I would have had a father figure there, I would have been able to, do this.
Yeah.
Always tell myself man, I might have made the league. If I had a father,
I could have been out there, y'all.
Yeah, I could have been, often joke I chose IT sales.
Okay.
All right.
But it didn't choose you. You chose it.
I chose IT sales. Could have went pro. But no, seriously though, man, just being able to provide that to them, we always talk about, providing our kids with things that we didn't have, but also providing some of those life lessons and those things that we did have as well. So it's been great, man.
Absolutely. First of all, commend you on having even that thought process, because a lot of folks don't always, think of it in that way of I missed out on this.
Yeah.
Right. Or I had this gap in my life, but I want to make sure that I'm providing everything. Sometimes that cycle just keeps going.
Yeah.
So what really was the driver for you when it comes to kind of breaking that cycle and not being in that space?
Yeah, man, that's a good question, man. So I would just say it all goes back to my upbringing. Honestly, always felt like God had his hand on my life, you know, just seeing like a lot of people, a lot of I'll say the male figures in my family, like they were, I gotta call it what it is, man. They were in the streets.
Okay.
They were in the streets, man. And I just feel like with me, like it was just different. I seen how that turned out,
Yeah.
you know, for them. You know, I just wanted different. I knew about my father. Like I said, I didn't meet him until I was 27, but I knew about his life and, you know, the path that he chose. I also knew that like with all these, like all the male figures in my family, you look at, you know, broken homes, scattered children. And I didn't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I always just had a knack for just, you know, if everyone's going this way and I feel like that don't work for me, I'm going to go right. You know, I'm going to do something different. And so I was always just set on that, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, just setting new standards for the family. So
no, that's key, man. I mean, we always have that like saying, right, where you're not a product necessarily of your environment, but the reality is like what your environment does help to shape you for the better or for the worse.
It does,
right? And we actively have to make decisions based off of how we were brought up on what we really want to see going forward.
Yeah.
So I hear you on that. When you look at your little ones today, and you kind of think of your upbringing, what are some of the key differences that for you're like, nah, I want to make sure you have this? Like, what is something that really just stands out to you there?
Man, so I told you this, we live in the suburbs, so my kids are spoiled. You know, I mean, I was, you know, spoiled, you know, as a kid, but I would definitely say my kids have more resources than I had growing up. So it's important to keep them grounded as well.
Yeah.
You know, that same environment that I had discussed earlier, there's definitely a lot of, you know, I'll say gems that I picked up on as a kid. And also too, like just trying to make sure that, okay, like they're book smart, you know, you're already growing up in the suburbs, but it's like, it has to be a balance. You know, you have to find some, you know, street smarts. And it's like, how do you instill that, you know, those street smarts into them without immersing them, you know,
fully into the streets?
Yeah.
I got you.
So I always joke with my wife, like we talk about like RJ, like, man, we might need to get him into, you know, Columbus City schools. It builds character. It does build you different though, but you know, does. And there are some good schools in the system. So let's be clear about that. Yeah. But you know, I joke about that, or like when he's playing sports, I'm like, man, we need to put him in the inner city league and it builds him different, man. It does.
It's because it's different life out here.
It's different out here, man. Like it's, you know, like it's, yeah, like it's like if you really want him to get better, you got to put him, you know, with kids. We're always saying like this, not to be funny, but like this might be they way out. You know, it's it's different. It'll build you different though. Yeah. But no, like I said, instilling that in them and just realizing, you know, just want them to realize, like, you know, not to take this for granted. I mean, it's hard for 4 and 1, you know, 4-year-old and a 1-year-old to see that. But we know, like we, you know, both came from, I would say humbler, you know, beginnings, humbler circumstances. So to be where we are, and just like I said, just make sure that they stay grounded. That's going to be a challenge. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge, especially with the daughter.
Well, I was going to say, daddy's girl.
Man, you know.
I do. Unfortunately. Listen, it's a fight every time we go to the store. No, you are not getting something today. Like that, just not doing it. By the time you get to the register, you're like, how did that get in the cart? So I get it. But it's good to hear someone thinking critically about that though, versus just like, hey, I'm living my life. I want to give my kid everything, which I think we all do as fathers, want to give them everything. But the thought process around like, let me be intentional with that, right? Let me be intentional with how I move with them, what they have, what they see, the experiences that they have. And I don't disagree with throwing them in the city league. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, hey, because life is different in the suburbs. Like, I need you to go get a little tough skin every once in a while.
Come on. Like I said, it builds them different. It builds character.
That's true. That's true.
Character. Yeah.
How did, for you, becoming a father really change, like, your life? Like the moment your son was born initially, RJ's brought in. Yeah. What really changed for you then?
Man, it changes instantly. Like you think about what fatherhood is going to be, and then it happens. It's just like, oh man, there's really no manual for this. You know, we got all the books, all the magazines and stuff. I probably read 10 pages, and I'm just like, man, I just need to pray and just do do what I know. You know, and just learn along the way. So, man, It's gonna be a blooper. What's the question again?
No, you're good. This gonna be. We just gonna mark that out right here, right now. That's a blooper straight up.
Like, was it? Yeah.
You're good. You're good. All right. Let me get. So, how did becoming a father like change your world? When RJ was born, how did that moment really impact you and what you were doing in life?
Man, it just made me realize, like, man, I have someone that's fully dependent upon me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just from, like career decisions don't just affect me anymore. They don't just affect me and my wife. Like, okay, RJ is dependent on every single decision that I make.
Yeah.
So like just from, like I said, career decisions, health decisions, decisions as far as who I'm interacting with, who I hang out with, so everything affects them. So, we went back to discipline. It also has a way of, keeping you on track as well. You know what I'm saying? Just keep, just thinking about like the bigger picture or, just striving for more.
Yeah.
That's been the big thing. Like I made up my mind. I was always like on the fence, like, man, do I want to go back to grad school? Do I really need to? And then I had my son. It was like the decision was made. Like I'm gonna go back. I feel like the further, that the more that I achieve, the further I progress, I feel like it gives him a better starting point in life for him and also for our daughter as well. So like it just pushed me to do more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it pushed me to push myself, like I said, intellectually, just spiritually as well. Just how I interact with his mom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's key, just making sure that, we're united, we're a united front and just really just leading the family. You know what I'm saying? Like that's but yeah, just like I said, he's looking at me at all times.
Yeah.
So just making sure of that. So there's times where like if I'm sitting there, like I used to be a big gamer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But these days, I have so much going on, got time for that. But even just from like reading, like he'll read more if he sees me reading. You know what I'm saying? He'll want to, work out if he sees me working out. And, so I've been getting myself together there as well. So, it's all, we're just becoming a better man.
That's it, man. That's awesome to hear. And very fair points. Although I don't have to disrespect, like you and the whole like not gaming. I'm still trying to game a little bit.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. We still game. If y'all want to tap in, if it's college football or Madden, we still get busy.
Oh, we still are you on like 26 Madden or where you at on?
26. Yeah.
So you
gaming
then? You still in it?
It's just not daily.
Okay,
but
fair.
we can we can still get to it though. If it's
Maybe on these sticks, we're good to go.
Yeah. For sure.
Fair enough. So when you think about, because I heard you say something in there about just how the adjustment is, and you think about your career growth, your development, and what you challenging yourself to do. Yeah. You mentioned just briefly, but how has that impacted your career? Because you're in tech, right? And does that mean you want to grow more? Does that mean you prioritize time with family? Like, what does that look like for you from a career standpoint?
Man, this is a great question. So for me, like I always talk about, like people always say like work-life balance, but I like to use the term like work-life harmony.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because like there's no true balance,
right.
But the fact that I have, autonomy, in my career, I can obviously have like work meetings and have travel and things like that. But once like that's set, I'm like talking with my wife, like, okay, what do we got to do this week or, the upcoming weeks? Like plug those dates into the calendar, appointments, time for her to go to the spa. My wife's a professional spa lady. Like she loves spa days. But getting time for her on the schedule, like our time on the schedule, like whether it's date nights and things like that, So I prioritize, like family events, family scheduling, and then it allows me to like, okay, when I'm interacting with clients or internal meetings, like schedule, internal meetings around that.
Yeah.
So always just in the mindset of, okay, what does my family need first? It's just like, okay, these are times I have available. Okay, so like client meetings or internal meetings, I schedule those in the slots that are available on my calendar, and to do it like that. And then outside of that, then it's like other ventures that I have, whether it's recording the Watchers or it's Just Chicken meetings or things like that. But always just prioritizing. Like God, family, then career.
Yeah.
And then that's been, I mean, it's still a challenge at times because, you know, things come up, you have to shift things around, but just keeping the main things the main things.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I'm gonna hit something real quick because see, you being real modest right now, and I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah.
But I know you are an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
You're co-owners in a very popular business here in the city.
Yeah.
And then you have your tech, and then you also have your podcast, right?
Watchers, yeah.
The Watchers, that's a ton, dude. Like,
It's a lot going on.
that's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I know, like, when we were kind of chatting in the there was like this moment for you of understanding when it's not in harmony, right? And what does that look like for you? How did you kind of realize that the harmony wasn't there when it comes to work life?
Man, so it's so like I said, there's a lot of time where there's still a lot of friction, and it comes with like the work travel. That's where it comes up to where, especially when you know we're working on 6-figure, 7-figure deals with clients, and I'm traveling like weekly, and there's times where I'm it could be 5, 6, 7 weeks straight, or it's like 2 months straight where it's like every week I'm on a plane somewhere. And some days it's, I leave out on a Monday, I'll be back on a Wednesday. Sometimes I'll leave out on a Monday and I'll be back on a Friday. Sometimes I leave on a Sunday, I'll be back on a Friday. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's, taxing. And my wife is she's a trooper for sure, because she still has her career and things she has to do. And obviously that shifts the, burden of, parenting in my absence, so she holds all that down. We have a tremendous village.
Awesome.
We have a tremendous village. All of our family is here. So, like the grandmas come over, they had kids, godmothers, just try to make it as convenient as I can for her, in my absence. But so that's when I really, realized that even then it's not going to be as harmonious, as, we'd want it to be. But, you work through it.
Yeah.
You work through it. And, it's worth it just, seeing the life that, God's grace, we've been able to, provide, to our kids. But it's challenging at times. And there's times where she just wants me home as well, even beyond just everything falling on her shoulders. Like she just wants me home. So it gets challenging, but, I appreciate her for it. And, we make up for it. So
you got a new diamond ring that you done bought? No, I'm messing.
Man,
Tiffany, I'm not trying to give you no ideas.
Man,
I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Like that's a blooper. No, I'm just playing. No, but we take care of her. Like that. She's not like too pretentious in that way. But I mean, I've definitely upgraded the ring for do nice things for her. She wants a, let's say, a spa day.
Okay.
I really don't tell her no. She don't ask for a lot, but if she does, and especially with like the Watchers, she see what's going on. So I'll say the requests have increased a bit. Like, hey, you think I can get like sure? So she see what's going on.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I don't really tell her no. So
that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. I mean, it's man. Listen, I get it from the travel perspective and having 2 kids, and you really do have to lean in on your spouse and your community to say like, hey, I need y'all to help me out. We're trying to make this thing happen. We're trying to make this thing work. From a dad's perspective, when you're out and you're gone, what are some of the worries or concerns that you have? Like, what are some of the things that run through your head when you're thousands of miles away and the family's back home?
Oh my gosh, just the fact that I'm not home. Just like, okay, first thing I tell Tiff, she knows, like, okay, so we keep I keep a gun safe on each floor.
Okay.
So just in case, no matter, like, if something happens, you need to be able to get to a weapon. Like it's, no matter what floor you're on, no matter where you're at in the house, you're always able to get to a weapon.
Okay.
So, like, I'm like, oh my God, something happens, like, she gonna be able to use it.
Yeah.
But then also too, just like, I mean, they're not stuck in the house when I'm gone. So like, she might want to take them to the park when I'm gone. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, just stay in the house.
Right.
Or she wants to go to like the grocery, like, do not take them to the grocery store and I'm not there, so just things like that. And it's just like, but it's definitely nerve-wracking for sure. But those are the things I worry about.
Security. Making sure everybody's good.
Everybody, exactly. And then I'm like, hey, if you feel like you need to take them out the house, this and that, like, hey, take a go to this safe here and take this gun. And she's like, I don't need to carry. You do, So like we have like back and forth about that, but yeah, those are things I worry about, just like security primarily.
Fair. Listen, you tougher than me because I'm over here like, do what you got to do. Just pay attention, please.
Yeah.
You got some rules on there on the breakdown.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, the legit concern is I'm a long ways away,
Exactly.
and I'm not able to be right there with you. So I hear you on that.
And I'm not gonna be able to. Yeah, if something happens, like what am I gonna do? And I'm, on the other side of the country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Phoenix.
That's fair.
If something happens here, it's just like, oh my gosh.
That's
But
right.
like I said, we have the village and everything, but still, like it's me.
It's you.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, that's real. That's real. Speaking of, like, when you think about your wife and your marriage, how has having Tiffany in your life really helped you to improve just being a father? Like, how has having her, when you think about what you didn't have as a kid and now you have a wife with your family, like, how does that help you with fatherhood? Think about that.
Man, that's a very great question. So like I'll say she comes from, more traditional like family, had, both parents, 2 older brothers, a younger brother.
Okay.
So she's the only girl. She's a daddy's girl.
Okay.
And like from the moment I met her, it's just, so my dad, I was like, okay. So, but also see, like now that I'm a dad and I have a daughter, like I want her to like my dad, and she's already going to be like that. I can tell.
Yeah.
But that's something that I picked up on. And I would just say like, just from having a strong like father figure in her life, I feel like like she kind of like pushed me to, become the man that I am, especially like when I met her, like she was already, master's degree, like setting her career, progressing. And I was really trying to, still trying to figure things out, you know what I'm saying? And like it definitely reached the crossroads to where it was like, okay, like, what are we doing? Like if we're going to do this, like we're going to do this. If not, we can just, kind of, go our separate ways. Here, It's just like, you know what? Like and then from that moment forward, I'm like, okay, let me just work on, getting myself together. And once I like just locked in, you know what I'm saying, things just started progressing and pretty fast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it just came together and it makes it a lot easier, having like I said, a strong woman in your corner, you know, and then just knowing like her background and her family values, it just makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Allows me to, do what I need to do.
Fair. She said you're gonna get your stuff together.
For sure. Like if this is this is what we want, what this we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right. Yeah.
Listen, I can do that. I can do that. That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. What advice would you give a dad or maybe someone that's getting ready to be a father, right? And trying to balance like marriage and parenting, like somebody that's you mentioned earlier, there's no playbook for this thing, right?
manual.
Like you can read as many pages as you want, but at the end of the day,
No manual.
your child is going to throw that page book out the window. They're going to be a little different in some way.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
what would you say, this is the advice you would give somebody when you talk about marriage and parenting?
Yeah, so I would just say, man, the big thing is like you have to be grounded. Like no matter what, faith you practice, whatever, you have to be grounded there. You have to give each other grace as well. Because like I said, there's no manual for, fatherhood, motherhood. There's no manual for parenthood. So, we're you're figuring it out on the go. It's a new experience. It shakes up your whole world for the better, but it's like it shakes everything up. I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this.
For sure.
Like, you're just figuring it out. There's, the mothers that they've gone through a life-changing experience. Putting their lives and their bodies on the line, so they're experiencing certain things. You're experiencing a level of fatigue that's, man, you just got to go through it. But no, I was like really just giving each other grace. Like that's the main thing I always tell people. And I always say like, it's your journey, you and your spouse, you and your significant other, like it's you two going through it. That's why I tell them like marriage, like parenthood, it's like, there's no manual. Like when people get married and say, you have any advice? I always tell them like the wedding, like is one day. They just keep that in mind. It's one day.
One day.
It's one day. It's not like it's great. You can like have fun, enjoy it. Don't spend everything you got on that one day because it's one day.
One.
I've seen people get married with 5-figure rings and they're not married now.
Mm-hmm.
I scraped up my money and got my wife a ring that was like $1,200, and we're still here going well. So you feel me?
Same.
You feel me?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's about the love and just like as long as you and communicate, communicate.
Yeah.
You know, if there's something that's going on, something that's on your mind, something that you need, say speak up.
Yeah.
And that goes for the fathers and the mothers as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's key.
Yeah.
That you said something really key, specific to parenting and marriage, right? Communicate.
Yeah.
And be genuine with your communication, right? Like how you feel, what you're feeling. Be real about that. Like, because if you don't, you end up building resentment ultimately.
You end up building resentment, and especially as a as a dad, I feel like it's all about the mother and the kids. Even like my sometimes even my own mom will call me. I'm her only child, by the way. My mom will call me like, "Hey Rod, where Tiff at? Hey Rod, what the kids doing?" And so they'll call me.
I'm still here.
Like I'm still here, but like I said, you answer the phone, you good. Where they at?
Right.
But sometimes it's good, and I always make a point to like check on my friends who are dads. Even my friends that aren't dads, honestly, just as black men.
Yeah.
Especially like, how you doing, man? Like, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm saying I'll call and say how the family doing. I'm like, how are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we need that.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll say we're forgotten about, but sometimes it does feel like we're put on the back burner.
Yeah.
Or just we got all these expectations and the weight of the world on our shoulders, and it's like sometimes it does feel like who's checking on us, man. So and I got to prioritize my mental health as well. I take a lot of self-care is important. Like if I'm not right, how can I be right? Saying for the family. So
it's true. That's true. No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, one of the reasons this whole show even started was for that purpose, right? Like checking in on us, checking in on what we got going on. And a lot of times we don't really take that time, right? To acknowledge like needs, acknowledge, struggles that we're going through and conversations that we have. I often look back on the start of this was really a conversation between myself and my best friend. We sat there, we were talking about like, man, look at how many people need these moments, these conversations, fathers, male figures, people that are in your space, and we don't share these stories. We don't talk about what's going on. And often we feel like we're by ourselves.
Yep.
Like often you feel like I'm the only one that's been through this. I'm the only one that struggled through this situation.
And you're not.
And you're not.
You're not.
By no means are we there. So thinking about just differences, you mentioned meeting your dad at 27.
Yeah.
What was the impact of meeting him at 27? First there, and then we'll talk about how meeting him at 27 impacts you as a father and how you're treating your kids.
Sure. So so let me take it. Now I gotta add context to it. So when I was a freshman in college, I met my brother on Facebook. So I found him on Facebook,
Okay.
and we kind of connected with each other and kind of just asked questions back and forth, and then kind of similar to when we realized we were cousins. Like, okay, after a few questions, like, all right, we're brothers. That's it.
Yeah,
it makes sense. So we talked for a few years, and then like after probably like 3 years of just like it's like talking on Facebook, and then like like texting. We had still never met in person. So I met my brother when I was like 21 in person. I'm just like, man, we're both here in Columbus. You go to Central State, I go to Wright State.
Okay.
Like, bro, let's just connect, man. Like, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and just start the process. So, like, met him, and then he, like, all my family is here in Columbus. So,
awesome.
Got a chance to like meet my grandma, meet my aunts, and everything like that. But my dad got deported to Panama, back to Panama when I was younger. So, so then it, my brother had connected us, and then when I was 21. We had our initial like conversation. So I met him, the first time I ever spoke with him when I was 21.
Okay.
We talked for just a good minute, just kind of just talking and everything like that. And we just talk, every now and then, we touch base, talk. But since then, like I got a chance to grow close with my family, over like I said back in 2010. And I think, well, Jeff. Yeah, he's my first cousin, and getting close with him, just getting close with the family, man. It was everything for me. Like it's a whole I've really began the process of healing, honestly, because like it's a whole side of me that I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it just like it felt right. And it's like, man, okay. Like I have a family. Like, you know, it's pretty cool. I have cousins, I have, you know, like, you know, saying just like aunts and, you know, starting to learn about like who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took like 6 years for me to actually, you know, like go to Panama and actually, you know, meet my dad. But kind of similar to the process with my brother. It's like after like 5, 6 years, it's like, all right, let's go ahead and rip this Band-Aid off and go meet him. So went out there meeting, me and my brother went, in about 10 years ago now, actually. Yeah. So, we went out there and it was, man, it was cool, man. It was great, actually, you know, just getting to meet him. And it was weird because like when we got to the house and they opened the door, it's almost looking at like an older version of yourself. It's just like, what's up, man? You know? But it was cool, and it's amazing how like as far as like certain like mannerisms and just like his character, it's just like I feel like I would have said that. Or I feel like, you know what I'm saying, like it's cool, you know, to have younger siblings down there. So for me, I feel like I was able to, you know, kind of close a chapter and then like start a new chapter. You know what I'm saying? And I've been now. I mean, we talk, you know, a couple of times a month. You know what I'm saying? He also reaches out, and sometimes he'll just reach out and ask how the kids are doing as well. Yeah. Same exact thing. Yeah. But that's cool, man. And I just wanted to know his story. I didn't really harbor like any resentment. I knew, you know, like why he had, you know, got incarcerated, why he got deported, everything like that. So I knew the story. I just wanted to hear his perspective, you know, and then I was able to just like let it go, move past it, because I mean, you get one set of parents. You get one set of parents. You don't get to write their story. And I know that just as an adult, like we're all trying to figure it out and do the best we can. Yeah. So you see that you can harbor resentment and say like, why me? Or you can just, you know, hear him out. You know, he was willing to, you know, move forward, and he reached out to me to build begin building a rapport and building relationships. So I'm just like, okay, you know, I could hold on to it, or we can just move forward from here and start fresh. And that's what we did. So it's been good, man. You know what I said, just connecting with him, and So to answer your question, I feel like meeting him when I did, like I became a dad at 32. You know what I'm saying? So it allowed me the time to like meet him and like begin to heal that part of my life. And then, you know, then I became a dad myself. So I feel like it was just, man, just like I said, just new standards, man. Just putting the family on a new path. You know? So it's great.
Did you feel like that really gave you, I know you said you kind of closed the chapter, you feel like it really boosted your confidence when it got to your time to be a father, when RJ was on the way? Do you feel like that introduction, that conversation, that closure gave you more?
I do, man. Like it allowed me to like really more from a standpoint of just like lifting that burden off of my shoulder. Just like I don't have to carry that weight anymore of like just not knowing like at least who my dad is, or knowing my background, or where I come from, where my people come from. You know, so I definitely feel like it did, man. It allowed me, like I said, to release that, especially going into, you know, fatherhood. Also, too, going back to what I said earlier, like it allowed me to just, you know, realize that like me being present and me being active in my son's life, like no matter where I'm at, like, you know, like economically or anything like that, like just me being, I mean, that matters, but like just me being present and me pouring into him, like that's the most important thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that even during like tougher stretches, you know, at work, maybe I'm expecting a deal to close, it didn't close. They don't care.
Yeah.
He don't care. You know, he has his cars. He's still trying to 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. He still wants to, you know, go to the park, or he still wants to race his cars. Like he can really care less. So, and it puts it all in perspective, just being present.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that makes me think about something that I know you mentioned prior, of legacy, and how legacy really means a lot to you. What does that mean when you hear that term legacy?
Man, legacy, man, for me, it means, you know, it means for me, it just means like just doing everything that, like I said, I can to give my son and daughter a leg up, put them in the best position, and then by putting them in the best position when they mature and, get older and, have families of their own, it'll have, say my grandkids, great grandkids, it'll allow them to have, a better starting position in life, man. So, everyone that carries, the die legacy, you know what I mean? Like it allowed them to, just start from a, like higher footing in life, So that's what it means. Just everyone that's connected to me now, and then also everyone that's, that will, come when I'm long gone, will be able to, benefit or reap the rewards of, the work that we're putting in. So that's legacy to me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The people that, people being able to, reap the rewards and be able to, have an impact on those that will be here long after we're gone. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. I know one thing that you mentioned and you said was really key kind of in your space, which is nothing happens by chance, right?
Yeah.
Nothing happens by chance. So in this case, like you've done the work, right? You put a lot of work in. You got 2 beautiful babies. You have a beautiful wife and family. Living the dream, right?
Man.
What work in all of that matter most to you? What work in all of that really mattered most to you, or it kind of keeps you driving even?
You said what work?
And putting everything together. So when you think about all the things that happen, none of it happened by chance. Like what did you invest most that mattered the most?
Man, well, I'll just say like mental health for sure. Like when I was doing like sales and I was like 100% commission, like it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, you know what I'm saying? But I'd say like my really just like investing in my mental health, honestly, and just cutting out the clutter like in my life, you know what I'm saying? And we talked about health, but it's like not only like what I'm consuming as far as like nutrition, but as far as like what I'm consuming, just like music, what am I pouring into myself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also too, just spending like time with myself, like what do I really want? And just praying and and then just like I said, just reading, writing stuff down, but really just spending time, like I said, really just spending time with myself, man. Just getting just reading and writing and just taking the steps, sometimes like making some sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that helped. I'd say obviously getting engaged and getting married played a big part in that too, with just far as just like the whole, like I said, the discipline thing and just just doing the work to become better, man. I gave up like I was working. I'll just say, man, asking God what he wants from my life for real.
Yeah.
And then just, sometimes you got to separate yourself from people. All of that played a part in it, man. I'm saying a lot of things, but everything really played a part into, getting to where I'm at now, man. And just, man, it's back in my life changed. Well, back in like 2018, man, in 2018, I was like 29 years old. And I had an apartment. I had to move back to my mom's basement at 29. That was it's very, grounding, very humbling. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just, while I'm here, ask God, like, while I'm here, what does he want me to do? And just make sure that it's the last time I have to, come back here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that long ago, 8 years ago. So, but that was like a very humbling time. It was a very lonely time. You know what I'm saying? But like we got it together. I took a just things started to happen. I prayed, pray for God, like, hey, if you can, just show me what I need to do, I'll do. I walked through those doors, and it started coming together, man. Things just started aligning, and then man, career wise, it started to accelerate for me as well.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just but I had to do the work, cut out, some like the extracurriculars, you know what I'm saying? As far as like, I never been like a huge drinker, but like cut back on like the drinking, even the some of the medicinals, you know, kind of just scale back there as well. Just like really just having a clear head.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and that really allowed me to ascend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, that's all real. Like you're hitting on what some folks really need sometimes, right? Like we as men, like we have to be honest with ourselves and say, hey, I gotta cut some of this out to get to where I'm trying to go.
This isn't going well, you know, how I want it to go.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Like, yeah, you know.
All right. Well, listen, last question, man. It's something I ask everybody.
Yeah.
What do you want a father or father to be or a father figure to know when they watch this episode? What's the final thought that you want them to take away?
Man, so I would say, like I'll say, give yourself grace. You know, give yourself grace, but you have to do the work. You have to do the work on yourself, man, and you have to. You're prioritizing your family, your kids, which you should, but even before all that, you have to prioritize yourself in some ways, because if you're not, you know, right for yourself, if you're not happy, you know, you can't be your full self and give your all to your family. So I definitely say, you know, focus on your mental, man, focus on your spiritual journey, focus on your physical journey, your health journey. And, you know, once you're a better you for yourself, you'll be a better you, you know, for your family. So.
Absolutely. If they want to watch the Watchers, how can they do it?
There we go, man. So, man, you can follow the Watchers Pod on IG. It's just Watchers Pod. We're also on YouTube as well, Spotify, Apple Podcast, The Watchers, or our company's Due Time. So Due Time presents The Watchers. So, yeah, check us out for sure.
Listen, you will learn if you were leveled up or not on that show. I will tell you that.
Oh man,
man, there's some good stuff on there, bro.
Sure.
I appreciate what you all are doing and just bringing light to a different world that not everybody gets an opportunity to get into. So
for sure,
listen, check that out. If you haven't, check out The Watchers for sure.
Please do.
Well, listen, I appreciate you being here, bro. Thank you for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this process. Season 3 is a phenomenal season. We got a lot of good dads on here, and I'm excited to continue to have good conversations, good shows. Keep sending in your comments. Keep sending in your questions. If you're a father out there looking for a community, we're here, and we want to make sure that you have the people that you need in your corner. Until next time, we'll see you then.